Hey, what's up everybody? It is time to head back out in the 4RS. It has been several days since I posted anything here on the channel, but we are back. I had some serious audio issues which ruined a lot of my recordings, but I think I figured everything out. Here's the plans for this morning. Number one, we're gonna go grab coffee. Number two, I'm gonna go drive to an old place that I used to go with the C63 and do a couple of polls for you guys, and then I'm heading to the gym. After the gym, we will sit down in the car and I will go over exactly how much I paid for this, how can I afford this car, and everything else in between. All right, so stay tuned. We're gonna jump in here and maybe we'll do like a little, cold start. Oh yeah, and for those who don't know, that is my daily. So this is what I use basically on a daily basis, and then also for my real estate stuff. My wife has a family car, so we have like an SUV, and that is my side-by-side. So we got blue on blue on blue, which is pretty dope. And I promise it was not set up that way. It just kind of happened. All right, I don't know if I showed you guys the inside of the car or not. We will do a dedicated video on that, but we've got the front button and the trunk. We're gonna go into the trunk. Throw my gym bag in there. All right, let's go. We can open up the exhaust valves, as you can hear. Just gonna let this run here for about 30 seconds or so, let the car kind of warm up. My C63 was definitely much louder from a cold start, and just you could rev it all the way up and hear the crackle and pops. With this, there is a limiter. I'm not gonna rev it quite yet, but I will here in just a sec. All right, so we're getting ready to take off here. Give you a little rev. Yeah. It revs, there's a limiter up to 4,000. Remember, this thing can rev all the way up to 9,000 RPMs. It's probably a good thing that there's a limiter, because when you get up between 8,000, 9,000 RPMs, this thing is an absolute screecher. And I know me, I'd probably sit into a parking lot somewhere and have this thing screeching at 9,000 RPMs, just revving it to all fuck. Anyway, let me drive out to grab a coffee, and then I'll meet you guys at our old spot, and we'll have some fun in the Porsche, and I'll let you guys know what I've been up to with the car in the last little bit, and all the cool stuff I got planned for you guys later on this month. All right, we'll see you in a minute. I mean, Jesus Christ, this thing's a rocket. I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, guys, I had to do a couple of errands, went to the gym about an hour and a half ago, and I'm gonna be heading home here shortly. I just pulled over, went into a parking lot somewhere to kind of go over how much I paid for the car. And I'm gonna jump right into it. So I paid all in, so this is taxes, shipping it from Montreal to Nova Scotia, any other fees, all of it, all in, $332,000. It was actually about $331,000 and some change, but that's how much I paid, and that's in Canadian dollars. So for the US conversion, it's about $241,800, give or take. That is how much I paid for the 2023 Porsche GT4RS. Now, I've had a ton of questions, not only on my stream, but on the last YouTube video, and also just kind of going around. Like everybody's kind of just stares at the car everywhere I go. And usually when we start talking, they usually ask like, dude, you don't mind me asking, but how much did you pay for this car? And it is an obscene amount of money. I'll be honest, I have
several real estate properties that I've paid less for than this car. So just saying that out loud is kind of crazy, but I want you guys to understand that me getting this car didn't happen overnight. This is 13 years of dedicated hard work and delaying gratification. And that is the honest truth. Also, in order for me to get this car, I wouldn't have been able to do it simply off of my active income. Okay? What I've always done and how I'm able to afford these sort of things is because of real estate. So essentially every single year I buy at least one rental property, sometimes multiple. One year I bought 4, another year I bought 1. There has been a couple of years where I bought none, but for the most part, it's pretty much every year or within 12 months of each other, I am purchasing a new piece of property. And since I've done that over the last, it's been almost 9 years, I think, since I've started investing in real estate, I didn't really take any money out of real estate at all. I just basically kept reinvesting it over and over and over again. All of the cash flow that I get from real estate, I never touch. So, you know, I make decent money a month off passive income from real estate. In fact, I could theoretically quit my day job and live off of that. I would have to really switch up lifestyles a little bit, but I've never actually took money out of it. I've only just kept reinvesting it. So if I made, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars on a deal, I don't take that money out and then go and buy fancy cars or go and buy expensive trips or anything of that nature. I just keep reinvesting it. So what I decided to do with this car was finally treat myself. So this was the first time in which I've taken some real estate money and I have purchased something nice for myself. Now I'll get into that. So I want to do a breakdown here. $332,000 all in. I got $52,000 worth of trade for my C63. So I had a 2018 C63S Coupe that has been on this channel for a long time. I got a lot of play out of that car. I loved it. I was sad to see it go, but now I'm happy I got rid of it because, you know, I've got this now and this is just a whole nother level of driving experience, not even close. But I got $52,000 trade-in for that car, which equals to be about $60,000 because remember, when you trade in a car, it goes directly towards the principal and then you don't have to pay tax on that $52K. So it ended up being about $60,000 towards the trade-in. So that left me with still a substantial balance of like almost, 270 something thousand bucks. So I put down another 71,000 and some change in cash on top of the 52 trade. And then I had $199,700 left on a balance. Now, I wasn't expecting to actually purchase a vehicle until next year. So I have been saving up some money over a period of time while still investing into real estate, still buying my tax-efficient dividend-paying stocks in tax-efficient accounts. But I was planning on, when I did a cash out refinance on properties next year, I was going to take a portion of that money and treat myself to buying a car. Well, the interest rates are very, very expensive right now. I called all the AAA banks. I have a very good relationship with a couple of AAA banks. I even talked to the dealerships. And before, I mentioned in the previous video, I looked at Lamborghini, I looked at McLaren, Porsche. I checked all the financing, and the absolute lowest rate that I could get from anybody was 8%. That's the absolute lowest. Because a car loan, the way the interest rates are right now, it's just expensive. It's very expensive. And when you have 8% over 7 years on a $200,000 balance, that payment would have been over $3,000 a month. Now, $3,000 a month, it's a lot of money to spend on a car, right? And I always told myself that I would never, ever, ever have a car payment again in my life. I am allergic to debt. I have no credit card, high interest consumer debt. I had every car that I've purchased over the last, 8 years, 9 years, has been paid in cash every time. And there are tons of people out there be like, oh, you're foolish. Why would you ever pay cash for a car? Blah, 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 blah. Hey, we can play the, oh, you could take this money and make more money and do all this. I still invest into my real estate every year. I still invest into my stocks every year. I still have a certain amount of emergency funds for my family. I have certain criteria. Anything above and beyond that, especially liquid cash, is just kind of sitting in the bank, not really doing a whole lot, not being used efficiently. I didn't have a problem putting some cash down towards this car. And to be honest, if I had $332,000 in cash and I still was able to do all of those things I just said, I would have just paid the car off. I have no problem doing that. I'm already pretty exposed when it comes to investments. I'm good on that aspect. But the reason why I opted to get the car now is because the interest rates, in my opinion, and this is not financial advice, I'm not a guru, I don't know everything, but in my opinion, the interest rates are going to start coming down very soon, probably in the next quarter. And or at the very bare minimal, it will start coming down this year. It's an election year, the interest rates have been high, there's just a lot of things going on, there's a lot of pressure when it comes to real estate, and just short-term money, long-term money, commercial real estate, everything right now it's at a point where it needs some relief. And so I believe that when the interest rates start to come down, the value of these cars are going to start going up because people's purchasing power is going to go up. As interest rates come down, people can afford more car. People can afford more house. People can afford to expand businesses and do different things like that. So if I were to wait till next year when I have a refinance coming, that I'll talk about here in a second, I might have actually had to pay an extra $10,000, $15,000 for this car. Not to mention, I got this car an extremely good deal. I think that this might have been the cheapest 4RS ever sold in Canada. If you were to go and look at a comparable car, like the same sort of spec, and you tried to go and buy this in the United States or whatever, you're looking at probably around $250,000 to $260,000 with higher mileage. This had 500 kilometers on it. To buy most of these cars, you're looking at between 2,000 to 5,000 miles. And then on top of that, it's still more expensive. And that's pre-tax. I paid $241,800 after tax. So yes, I paid over MSRP. If you were to spec this car out and you were to get an allocation for however you managed to get it, you're looking at about $240,000 for this car, right? And then, you know, because there's luxury tax and all this other stuff. So I did pay over. But the two good things about this is, number one, I still got this car at a really good price for how much they go for. I could flip this car, honestly, and make a few bucks, but I would never do that. Secondly, so, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. The car itself, it holds value, right? So unlike some of the other cars, this will either hold value or appreciate. So I got in at a good rate. So what I believe is a year from now, this same car is probably going to be a little bit more expensive. And since the interest rates are so high, the softening of the market has happened. The price of this car has come down some. The price of some Ferraris have come down some and supercars. But the moment the interest rates start dropping, the values are going to start going up again. And so I kind of jumped the gun a little bit this year and decided to make this purchase. So what did I do with the other $199,700 that I owed after the trade-in and the $71,000 and something in cash? Well, I could have gotten, like I said, an auto loan at 8% over 7 years, pay $3,000 a month. Instead, what I did is I finally tapped into some of the real estate. Now, I have a property, or I still do. I had a property that had a $200,000 HELOC balance. So if you don't know what a HELOC is, it's a home equity line of credit. So essentially, it's like having one large credit card on your house. You can take money, you can buy a car, you can renovate a house, you can put your child through college, you can do whatever you want with the money, but you have to pay it back at the interest rate prime plus 1 or 2, depending on your rates. The good thing about what I did here is I actually partitioned off $200,000 of the HELOC, which was my own money. So this is equity that was built up from tenants paying down the mortgage, from the property value going up, and I partitioned that off and created its own separate mortgage. And I've been able to lock that in at 5.4% instead of 8%. And then on top of that, because it's a mortgage, it's amortized over 25 years instead of 7, which makes my payments go from $3,000 a month down to $1,200 a month, which is what I pay. So I'm just kind of moving money around, and it's money that is tax-free, because when you do a cash out refinance, that money isn't taxable until you sell the house. Then it becomes a taxable event. So it's tax-free money, so I didn't have to go and find another $200,000 after-tax dollars to go and put this money down. I'm just leveraging some of the money and equity that I had already built into one of my properties. Plus, that property still cash flows. It still pays for itself. The tenants still pay. I still make a couple of bucks. It's not much, but it is a vessel that builds wealth over time. So the reason why I decided that I was going to buy a car next year is because I purchased some rental properties with a partner a couple of years ago. We paid $1,010,000 for these properties. It was 4 properties in one. Basically, we renovated the places and we brought them all up. When we bought the property, we got it in basically from a distressed seller. So they wanted to get rid of it. They inherited these properties, and she had them for several years, hated being a landlord, just wanted to get rid of them. And the market was starting to turn, and the interest rates were starting to come up. So we managed to get a steal on the deal. When we first bought it, we bought it for $1,010,000, and then when we got it appraised, it was worth $1.21 million the day one. So we made $200K day one off the sell. Put a bunch of money into it, and now the properties are worth about $1.8 million. Now, we're not ready to do a cash out refinance yet because we still have a few of the units to turn over, to raise the rents, to bring the value of these properties up, and the interest rates are likely going to continue to come, or will start to come down throughout this year. So next year, when the interest rates come down and our term is coming up, when we go for a renewal, I'll be able to pull out a substantial amount of money, right? Minimal $600,000. If the interest rates don't come down, then it'll be closer to $500,000. But even at $500,000, I get to pull out the money that I put into the property, and then I can pay off my JV, my joint venture partner, so that I now have 100% of the deal. I can get into more high level about this, and there is I can do a big breakdown on this, but what I'm trying to say is I have a substantial check coming next year from a reimbursement for an investment that I did, and I was finally going to take a portion of that money and put it towards a vehicle that I can enjoy and make content with. Now with this vehicle, I'm able to make content, make money, do write-offs, and it makes the cost of the car go down even more. And the simple fact that I have this through a mortgage loan, I'm able to do some cool things with that and get a little bit more of a kickback as well, making the car even more affordable, or I wouldn't even say affordable, but more practical than just buying this to buy this. So why I'm trying to tell you guys all of this is, no, I just did not have all of this money laying around in cash to go and buy. No, I did not finance all of this stuff and I have some crazy car payment. But yes, it took a decade plus of work and moving things around and being frugal and living well below my means for a long time for me to actually be able to afford this car. And for me, for a $1,200 a month payment, and with the tires that I have to buy at the end of each year, the maintenance, all of that stuff for the car, it's about $2,000 a month, all in. Gas, you name it, it's $2,000 a month. I can afford that. I'll be okay. And like I said, when I do the cash out refinance on these properties next year in about 16 months, I'm just going to take the chunk of that money and then pay off the HELOC or this mortgage that I partitioned off for this car. And this was, like I said, I didn't go to the bank and get another $200K. This was money that I already built in equity. I'm just kind of moving it around so that I don't have to pay even more interest and waste more money. So that's how I opted to afford this car. Yes, I make good money. Yes, I've done very well. I have a pretty high income, but I pay myself the same amount of money every single year. It doesn't matter if I do really well one year or do not so well. Last year, it was one of the worst years I've had in several years, but I paid myself the same amount. anything above and beyond what my family actually needs to live and to live a comfortable life, I just reinvest all of that money into real estate. So instead of paying myself all of my income and getting taxed at 50%, I'd rather pay a certain amount and then just pay certain types of corporate tax and then use that money to loan to other companies to then generate more money. You can build wealth to a degree off income, but it's very, very slow and hard. What I've learned is if you can find vessels to put your money in that it can grow over decades, that's how it really compounds, and you can really start to see big gains over a long period of time. This, over the last 2 years, is the first time where I'm actually seeing the big benefits of holding a lot of real estate and the delayed gratification of not buying a bunch of fancy shit when I got those big checks over the years, but instead just kept reinvesting them. And that's how I've been able to afford this car. That is the secret. When you see a lot of these people flaunting and they've got 17 different, cars and houses and all this other stuff, like, cool, but a lot of the times it's a mirage. It's not really real. You can have a really nice car or a really nice house or whatever, but you could be financed out the ass and be broke as fuck on the other end. I made sure that when I buy something like this, my family lifestyle doesn't change at all, that I don't have to stress about it. If you're losing sleep over making a purchase, you shouldn't make that purchase, plain and simple. So I don't want to ramble on too much, but yes, I did pay a substantial amount of money. I got a good trade-in. I got a decent trade-in for my Mercedes. And plus with the Mercedes, just to be transparent, I made over $60,000 in ad revenue alone from making content with that, not including any write-offs or anything. So I made money on that car. And I didn't get a huge value for that because it had 2 accidents and it was scaring some of the buyers when it went to auction. So, I was happy with the trade-in. I got into a far better car. I'm having a ton of fun with it. And sorry, my battery's about to die. I had a ton of fun with it, and I'm gonna have a ton of fun with this one. Hopefully I answered all of the questions. So yeah, just a quick rundown. I pay $1,200 a month. It's about, my insurance is $2,020 a year for this car. All of my vehicles combined, it's just under $5K a year. So all in, I'm at about $2,000 a month to operate this vehicle. And like I said, in 6 months, I'll pay it off in full. Even though it is paid off in full. Like when I read the pink slip, it's my name. It's not a bank. It's all the money that I had, I paid for it. I already own the title. It's mine. So, nobody come take this away from me. Unless I guess I don't make the payments on the $1,200 payments. But I mean, I have enough to, I could pay that off whenever through, if I wanted to, I could sell the literal house that it's on, cover that, and still walk away with money in my pocket. So, I'm just kind of moving money around so that I'm not going, broke from having any money in my checkings account or being able to, to live a regular, everyday, day-to-day life without, worrying. I don't think there's anything else that I have to add. Yeah, I got a crazy good deal. I'm enjoying it. I know it's a lot of money. Don't think that this came overnight. This is a lot of hard work. And yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, shoot them in the comment section. If you want to hear more about real estate and some actual breakdowns on some of the stuff that I've done, let me know. I'd be more than happy. I love real estate. I could talk about real estate for hours. And real estate is the reason why I was able to get this car. All right? That's it for me, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I got some cool stuff coming for you guys. We got a Porsche event to go to in a couple of days. I'm going to be joining a racing track, so basically getting a membership to a performance driving school. We're going to be vlogging all of that. We're going to be tracking the car every 2 weeks. I've already got an appointment to go in and get the rest of the car PPF'd and ceramic coated. That's the other thing. I don't know if I mentioned this in this video, but I also, with this car, it already came 70% PPF'd and it's got extended warranty. So I've got this warranted for 6 years on top of it, which is a $4,000 package to get the extended warranty. So I saved 10 grand on stuff that I was gonna do with the car anyway, which even adds more value to this vehicle. So, yeah, maybe in my mind I'm trying to justify the crazy purchase because it's nuts. It's batshit crazy, guys. This is a $332,000 car. It's fucking insane. But you know, I'm grateful. I'm blessed. I'm grateful. And I'm grateful for you guys. Thank you for supporting everything that I've done over the last God knows how long and continuing to do so. And I'm happy that I can share these things with you guys. Yeah, and perhaps give any guidance or anything like that if you guys have any questions about these sort of things. All right, guys? Thank you so much. Take care, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace out.